we will discuss it a little. So coming to the, like we already know, do you find, see, some rules are very easy and some are, some need to be introspected and getting immersed in it. And for that reason, you know, we're doing these rules again. So in some which are easy, we will not explain. We will just read through it. If you want me to read twice, I do not mind. But if some rules which are a little not so easy, we are going to discuss and find out that we all are on the same page. So let us go to the first rule. Yes. So one of the rules says, and we know who set the rules in the book, who set it. Are we aware of who set the rules in the book?
Yeah,
Anyone?
it's Rumi to the shaman.
No. It
No?
shams to, no, it shams the dervish to all of us in general.
Say it again, please. Sorry, I missed it.
It shams the dervish who visits Rumi, and
Okay.
he set all the 40 rules.
Okay.
And when it's, you know, relevant, that is the time he speaks about it. And so he's mentioned all the 40 rules in the book. And as and when needed, you know, we find the continuation with what the author is saying along with the rule, and that is what sets in our mind. So the first rule, I think we had read it last time, but I'll go through it because we're going sequence wise. So the first one is saying you can study God through everything and everyone in the universe. You can study God through everything and everyone in the universe, because God is not confined in a mosque, synagogue, or church. But if you're still in need of knowing where exactly his abode is, there is only one place to look for him, and that is in the heart of a true lover. Okay?
Yes, madam.
So we don't have to go through this. It's quite obvious what's written and it's very easy. That is, we usually as humans, we visit the temple and the churches, you know, for worship or for when we are disturbed. But what we don't realize is that he's right there in our heart. And the minute we look for him there, he's there. So we do not have to search him outside. He's right there inside of us. So coming back, anybody wants to reflect on this? Anyone want to reflect on this?
Yeah, I think it's a matter of remembering it because often you forget it.
Yes. We tend to forget it, right? That's what you're saying.
Yes.
Yeah. So earlier when we were small or even in our teens, you know, we really believed that God was there, and we went there to offer our prayers or our sincere wishes and desires. But what we didn't know is that his abode is in our heart. So we go to the second rule. The path to the truth is a labor of the heart. The path to the truth is a labor of the heart, not of the head. Make your heart your primary guide, not your mind. Meet, challenge, and ultimately prevail over your nafs with your heart. Knowing your ego will lead you to the knowledge of God. Knowing your ego will lead you to the knowledge of God. And that's how, you know, you can understand that should we follow the heart or the head? Like most of us usually say, logic-wise, we follow our head, but in the affairs of the world and many other things, if we follow the heart, it is better. Why? Because we know that it's the nafs which is working with our heart, and knowing our ego will lead us to the knowledge of God. No, so we have to be ruling from the heart. But sometimes people say that you become a fool if you rule by heart. Have you heard that? What do you believe? Yeah, anyone?
Yeah, in most of the time, even in the education system, everywhere, there is a lot of emphasis on, follow the logical mind to do everything in life. But yeah, we have to find the balance between the two. Means mind is equally important, but it takes us more in the knowledge domain versus heart takes you in literally knowing what is the right thing to do.
Yeah, then we have to, this thing, occurrence of knowledge happens with logic, but we know that with the heart is the soul guiding us, that gut feeling that we say, inside our heart, which tells us what to do and what not to do. Right? Agree, everyone? So the third one we'll go to. If you want to strengthen your faith, you will need to soften inside. Hear me again. If you want to strengthen your faith, you will need to soften inside. Than before, the only way to get closer to the truth is to expand your heart so that it will encompass all humanity. Just 1 second. I think this is the last line, not the third line. So you need to soften inside. For your faith to be rock solid, your heart needs to be as soft as a feather. So I'll read again so that you follow the sequence. If you want to strengthen your faith, you will need to soften inside. For your faith to be rock solid, your heart needs to be as soft as a feather. Okay? Can I go further?
Yes, madam.
Yeah. Through an illness, accident, loss, fright, one way or another, we are all faced with incidents that teach us how to become less selfish and judgmental, less selfish and judgmental, more compassionate and generous. So we have seen that, first the author is saying that you need to be soft as a feather and you need to strengthen your faith. When you need to strengthen your faith, you have to soften inside. One. But when we go through any mishap, an illness, could be an accident, loss, fright, one way or another, we all are faced with incidents that teach us to become less judgmental and selfish and more compassionate and generous. Have you faced that? When we all go through hurdles and difficulties in life, and when we go through that, have you seen that what we feel at that particular time?
We feel stressed.
When we go through loss, yes, we feel stressed. So what do we do then?
We try to solve the problem.
We learn that, we have to be less judgmental and less selfish. Why? Because the more compassionate and generous we are, we give a satisfaction to the heart. The more compassionate and generous you are, it gives satisfaction to your heart, isn't it?
Yes, madam.
And when we are in the state of judgmental and selfish, we are being negative and very critical, which is not good for our health and our mind. So the best way is to become compassionate and generous. Yet some of us are to learn the lesson and manage to become milder, while some others end up becoming even harsher than before. So there are two types of people that once they go through such troubles and travels in life, they become harsher. And we have seen that such are the people, who are difficult with themselves and with the people around them. And people judge that this person is very bitter. And it must have been that the person has become bitter because of his um, loss and his mishaps and his difficulties. But then there are some others where we said earlier that you have to soften your heart, they become milder. Means they're not, they soften so much that they forget anger, they forget jealousy, harshness, all the bad elements are gone from their heart. And they then become closer to the truth. And in order to get closer to the truth is to expand your heart so that it will encompass all humanity and still have room for more love. I'll read the last line again. The only way to get closer to the truth is to expand your heart so that it will encompass all humanity and still have room for more love. Do you agree to that?
Yes, madam.
Right? Yeah. Because what happens is then you start looking at life in a bigger way, a larger way, and you find out that, wow, life is so beautiful. And in spite of your troubles, and you meet nice people along the way, you have beautiful experiences, and you stop comparing and judging, which is the best, that could happen to you. So, coming back to the fourth rule, we will see. Just give me a minute. I'll have to go back to my. So, in between, hello.
Yes, madam.
I think she got dropped off. If someone would like to share about what you are getting, it would be great. Ashmiti, Ushaji, Daji.
शबाना जी आप ही कंटिन्यू करिए ना.
I'm not having the book with me, so I can't continue.
नेट पे देख लीजिए.
I think Samina ji will just join. I think it's just her net got off, so let her continue. But yeah, we can share like from what we are getting out of it. So anyone would like to add anything?
नीलन जी भी अच्छा नॉलेज रखती हैं, उनको बुलाइए ना.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, Shabana ji, I'm here. Sorry, I got disconnected because, so I'll continue from here. One of the rules, the fourth one. If you want to strengthen your faith, you will need to soften inside. For your faith to be rock solid, your heart needs to be soft as a feather. No, I think this is what we already read. So I'm sorry for that. And we'll go on to the next. Just let me go to my PDF and I'll get my other things from there. Yes. So the fourth rule says, intellect and love are made of different materials. Intellect ties people in knots and risks nothing, but love dissolves all tangles and risks everything. I'll read it again. Intellect and love are made of different materials. Intellect ties people in knots and risks nothing, but love is the one that dissolves all tangles and risks everything. So intellect is always cautious. Yeah. Intellect is always cautious and advises, beware too much ecstasy. Whereas love says, oh, never mind, take the plunge. Intellect does not easily break down, whereas love can effortlessly reduce itself to rubble. But treasures are hidden among ruins. A broken heart hides the treasures. Isn't it beautiful? Can I read it again, or has anyone understood and can explain?
Please read again. Very profound, but not assimilating fully. Please read again for us and explain us also.
From the beginning, right? So intellect
Yes.
and love are made of different materials. Intellect ties people in knots and risk nothing. And in comparison with that, love dissolves all tangles and risk everything. Intellect is always cautious and advises beware too much ecstasy. Means I can see the logic has come in, which we said in that other para, that when we go through intellect and logic, then it makes us more confused. Ties and knots means what? Ties people and knots is making us confused. And there we don't risk anything because we're so scared of failure. But what love does is it dissolves all the tangles and risk everything. Love is ready to risk everything. Where logic will advise us, beware too much ecstasy means take caution, be cautious. Whereas love says, oh, never mind, take the plunge, that is ready to take the risk, no matter it's failure or, win. And intellect does not easily break down, whereas love can effortlessly reduce itself to rubble. And what's rubble? To the small pebbles and the small, how the mountain breaks down to pieces, and that's called rubble. It's actually rubbish, but it's a small, small piece of mud and pebbles. So, but treasures are hidden among ruins, and a broken heart hides the treasures. So these two last lines gives us a full summary of the thing we read earlier. So I'll read it again. But treasures are hidden among ruins, and a broken heart hides treasures. So what do you gather from it? Yeah, anyone? So I'll come to it. As we said, intellect always stops us from going further because scared of failure and will tell us not to plunge. Whereas love will tell us go ahead and take the plunge. But ultimately, what happens is love makes us reduce ourselves to rubble so that we don't have an ego and we are selfless. We are not selfish. And those treasures that we got, by failure or by broken heart, these are the treasures that we find inside a broken heart. The treasures are hidden among the ruins. We always find in ruins, we find the treasures as in war, and even when they go for excavation, these historians, we have seen that they find treasures. So in the same way, they are comparing it to a broken heart. So broken heart hides the treasures. Clear?
Yeah, I think the real strength come from, after the failure, because where are the gaps.
Yeah. It comes from love and it comes from failure. Because now you're not scared of anything. You have become so bold, you can take any plunge. Whereas earlier you were treading carefully and, very with logic in your mind. And now you've given the plunge, taken the plunge. You're ready to face the world. Okay? We come to rule number 5. Most of the problems of the world stem from linguistic mistakes and simple misunderstanding. We all know that most of the problems which we face come from linguistic mistakes. That is, we've used a wrong word in the sentence and simple misunderstandings. Don't ever take words at a face value. When you step into the zone of love, language as we know it becomes obsolete. So in love, it's silence and we do not need any language. Why? Why do we not need any language? Anyone? Ashmi, Neelam, Udayji, Shabana?
Because I think we are all one.
No, yeah, in a way, but here what they're hinting at is, that when there is silence in love, language is not needed because there's no need for language. It has now become obsolete. Obsolete means something redundant, not needed. Okay, so when you step into the zone of love, language becomes obsolete because silence itself speaks for it.
Yes.
That which cannot be put into words can only be grasped through silence. See, the last line says the same thing what I said. That it can't be put into words. We don't need any linguistic words and linguistic language. And what we can grasp is through silence. Do you want me to read that again or is it clear?
Yeah, I think it's clear.
Clear, everyone? So rule number 6. Loneliness and solitude are two different things. When you are lonely, it's easy to delude yourself into believing that you are on the right path. Solitude is better for us as it means being alone without feeling lonely. As somebody was asking I think in Sandeep sir's session, if I remember right, that what is the difference between lonely and solitude? So here we have the answer that these two are, loneliness and solitude are two different things. So when you're lonely, it's easy to delude yourself into believing that you're on the right path. It's easy to delude yourself. Delude yourself means easy to fake. You in your mind into believing that you're on the right path. So solitude is better for us. Why? Because it means being alone without feeling lonely. See, lonely is you can feel in a crowd when you go, and there are so many people laughing and talking, but because you don't fit into that groove, you start feeling lonely that there's no one like me. But in solitude is better for us because we don't mind being alone and we are happy with ourselves. So the last line says, but eventually it is the best to find a person who will be a mirror. Remember, only in another person's heart can you truly see yourself and the presence of God within you. So I think this takes us to it's not very same, not very similar, but somewhat, that song of Shah Rukh Khan, um, तुझ में रब देखता है यारा मैं क्या करूं. It's something like that. Why? Because it's the best to find a person who will be your mirror. See, mirror is there. When we look into the mirror, it tells us our real attributes. That how our eyes are, our nose, our lips, and it doesn't tell a lie. So in the same way, they're saying if you are already residing in another person's heart, you can truly see yourself and the presence of God within you. So you're getting two things out of love. You are getting to see your true self, because that person who loves you is not going to be artificial or fake. And you can also feel the presence of God within you, because love brings the presence of God in your soul, in your heart. Clear, everyone? Or should I read it again?
Yes, madam.
Should I go on?
Yes.
Okay. So rule number 7. Whatever happens in your life, no matter how troubling things might seem, whatever happens in your life, no matter how troubling things might seem, do not enter the neighborhood of despair. Even when all doors remain closed, God will open up a new path only for you. Don't we say that don't despair and cry when one door closes on your face? Because there are 10 doors open, and God may open a door, where a new path has been subscribed for you. Be thankful. It's easy to be thankful when all is well. A Sufi is thankful not only for what he has been given, but also for that he has been denied. So you get this? We ask for things and for so many of our desires to be fulfilled. Are all our desires fulfilled?
No.
No. Right? So what do we do when our wishes are not fulfilled? Do we sit and cry or what? What do we do?
Things happen naturally.
Things which happen naturally, whether we get what we're asking and we don't get what we're asking, in both the spheres, we thank God. Because that also which has not been given to us, which has been denied, is for our own good. Don't we see sometimes after some time, oh, thank God I didn't go out, that day it was raining so heavily and the full city was flooded, and what travels and difficulties people faced, and you were supposed to go out, but something within you said no, don't go, and so you sat down at home, and then later in the day till evening you came to know that there was heavy pouring of rain, and there was a lot of destruction, lot of flooding, and people could not um, take any vehicle, and they had to walk and wade through the waters. Have you ever any time faced such a situation like this when earlier you were so keen to go somewhere or so keen to do some work, but something stopped you from going or doing? And were you thankful later on and you said, thank God I didn't do this, thank God I didn't go here?
Yes, so many times.
Yes. So many times. So, can anyone give an example?
एग्जाम्पल मीन्स मुंबई में तो रोज ही होता है मैडम.
हाँ, वो तो है, पर अपनी पर्सनल लाइफ में भी होता है ना. जैसे अभी ट्विन टावर में कैसे हुआ था, so many people that day didn't get a cab, or somebody forgot some keys, so they had to rush home again, and even before they reached that twin tower was destroyed, and they thank God, oh God, thank God I was not in the building, I'm saved. Whereas if I had my keys inside, or if I had got a cab soon, I would have reached on time, and I would also be one of the uh, people in the building who would have faced death or any injury, isn't it?
Yes.
So many a times things happen, wherein we thank God, that we thank Him for everything that we have, and we also thank Him for what we don't have. That is the simple Sufi rule. So everybody's clear about that? Should I go ahead?
Yes.
Okay. So rule number 8, patience does not mean to be passively endure. It means to look at the end of a process. What does patience mean? I'll read it again before I go further. Patience does not mean to passively endure. It means to look at the end of a process. What does patience mean? It means to look at the thorn and see the rose, to look at the night and see the dawn. That is, now you're visualizing. See, your eyes, actual eyes, are perceiving the thorn, but you know that the rose is the beautiful thing which is protected by the thorn, and so because it's so delicate and beautiful, it's protected by the thorn. Same, that when we look at the night, we know it's darkness, but we know that this darkness will pass and we will see the dawn. So this has an implicated meaning. As we know, okay, when we are in trouble, people say, oh, don't worry, this will pass through and you'll be in a better position. Isn't it?
Yes.
That is, we see the light at the end of a tunnel, even in darkness. And so we don't get scared of the darkness because, as we know, light follows darkness and night follows day, and laughter follows crying, and crying follows laughter. So things are going to change. They are not going to remain the same. This is what the author is trying to say here. Go further. Impatient means to be short sighted as to not be able to see the outcome. Impatience means to be short sighted as to not able to see. Yes, when we are impatient, we become so short sighted and so demanding that we cannot see the outcome. We want our wishes and desires to be fulfilled. That much ego we have, you know. But the lovers of God never run out of patience, for they know that time is needed for the crescent moon to become full. Wow, beautiful. Lovely analogy here. Can someone explain? Anyone?
Samina ji, uh, patience, patience is to me from my personal experience as a trainer. Um, patience is a virtue that everyone should have, and the book of love, which you have, it explains very well. You explain patience is, to me, patience is the ability to cope with challenges with laughter and smiles. Because if we frown, we are not going to get anywhere. So that is what I learned as a trainer. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah.
Hello.
So the lovers, they are saying that the lovers of God, you know, never run out of patience. When the immediate goal is not reached, like supposing they can't be together or they can't, you know, whatever we can think of, they cannot travel together, they cannot get married, there are some hurdles. So they keep patient and they wait. The main thing in life is, you know, as I don't know if I've done this session here, what is the importance of pause? Have I done it here? Oh, yes, I have done it. Anyone remembers? Shabana ji?
Yes, yes, you did it.
Yeah. So in that, you know, I said that, see, everywhere there is a period of waiting, a period of gap, and that gap we call pause. And that pause is very important in our life because nature doesn't hurry up in anything. Nature also has its way of going about it calmly and within a span of time, not like flick the finger and it happens. So that patience that nature has, we also have to imbibe it in ourselves so that we all know it's all needed in our life, that patience and that pause, because we know the crescent moon will become full one day. Today it's a crescent moon, tomorrow it will become half, and then three-fourths, and the full moon. So we got to wait and not be impatient, right? So we go to rule number 9. East, west, south, or north makes little difference. No matter what your destination, just be sure to make every journey a journey within. If you travel within, you'll travel the whole wide world and beyond. What idea you get from this para, or should I read it again? You understood it. Yeah? Anyone? It's talking about traveling.
think
Okay.
I think that Samina ji, I think that when we travel on the road of life or on the pathway of, we must take one step at a time, and do not let any being, whether it's our siblings or anyone, siblings, friends, hinder us from what we want to do. Because at the end of the day, we live for ourselves. So we live for ourselves and to please God. Only God knows the best for us. Only He is perfect.
Yes. So
Only
what
He.
you stressed upon is an important point, Rajiv ji, that if you travel within what the author is saying, you have traveled the whole wide world and beyond. See, we get tickets to, UK and Singapore and this and that, and we tell people, I'm traveling, and the experience was so beautiful. I will send you pictures, and we enjoyed, and all that. So the author is trying to say whether you travel east or west, south or north, it makes little difference. Why little difference? Because you have traveled only outwardly, globally. But have you traveled within your own self? So when you go within yourself and see the journey of life, the journey of yourself, as you said, Rajivji, that you will know where you stand if you travel within, that how much you have grasped, how much you have learned, how much you've learned to be patient. Are you being soft as a feather? Now we will include all the other factors which he spoke about in this one. So we culminate it into the philosophy of life. And we also have patience, we have the soft heart, we travel the outside world, not bad, but the main journey is within ourselves. And that is when we are changing our character, our nature, our journey towards purity and towards God and towards the ultimate. Plus, we have learned patience, we have learned that love is something so sublime which doesn't need language and logic. There is no need of words because silence itself speaks for itself. So I think we can write a beautiful analogy on all the 9 or 10 rules that I have read, because it all culminates into getting the essence of who we are, where we are headed to, and how we can change and how we can transform ourselves for the betterment of ourselves and for the world to experience who we are and what we are. And even they can learn and get on this journey, seeing us, knowing our journey, and they also get inspiration, motivation, and the entire gamut of the beauty around us. So anyone wanting to culminate and say a few things which we may have missed, or you want to put it in some different words, you're most welcome. Come on, please. Anyone?
I think,
Samina?
yeah. I'm really
Yeah, just wanted to apologize. I'm having terrible headache, so that's why I'm not participating, but I'm listening to you. I am not in a frame of mind to even speak. So just wanted to apologize for today's
No
not so
problem.
active as I like to do. Sorry, but your session was great. Just wanted to compliment you.
No. My one rule is still left. But what I would want, each one of us to do, that to write the summary in the a sense of what the author is trying to tell us. Where does he want us to change? Like, as I said, in all the different paras, he's given one important gem, which we pick up, which we write. And when we write, it imbibes in ourselves. And when it imbibes, it changes our character and our profound self, who we are, what we are, and where we are headed to. And have we reached the journey, or are we on the journey? It will be beautiful if we can write. I'm telling you, it is going to, never mind if you miss some points. And we do not have to write the exact thing. We have to write what we have understood. So with this, I'll just go to the last rule, which is 18 number. And why I'm reading this rule along with these 9 is because it culminates, we have left something out, and that is why. So the rule 18 is, if you want to change the ways others treat you, you should first change the way you treat yourself. Fully and sincerely, there is no way you can be loved. What is this? You can tell me simply what every trainer has been telling us. You have to love yourself, isn't it? It's self-love it's speaking about. And when you look in the mirror in the morning and you know your flaws outwardly and inwardly, yet you tell yourself, I love you. And you are the best person that could be. You are a winner, and you will be a winner always. And when you say this, when you feel it within, you find that, you are treating yourself right. And if you treat yourself right, fully and sincerely, everybody around you starts loving you. So first you inculcate the love within you, and then people will love you. Same way, if you respect yourself, your self-respect first, put it on the first go, on your first rule, then everybody will respect you. So the same way, one more last stanza. Once you achieve that stage, however, be thankful for every thorn that others might throw at you. It's a sign that you will be soon showered in roses. Yeah? What we see along the way with prophets and with many people, these scientists and other philosophers, that initially everyone criticized them when they came up with a new rule or a new theory, and they said he's mad or he's crazy. So we have to be thankful for every thorn that has been thrown at us. We don't have to sulk and sit in a corner. Why? Because it's a sign that you will be soon showered on roses. All those in the initial stages, human beings are so stubborn that, we do not want to accept any new theory, any new scientific evidence, any truth that has come about from a sage, a peer, or a dervish, or a Sufi, and we want to criticize and laugh and jeer and leer at them. But that is the beginning of their success. That is the beginning of that. Very soon, today we are throwing a thorn at them, but tomorrow they will be showered in roses. Okay?
Awesome. Thank you, Samina ji. You have covered 10 instead of 5. So we can
Yeah.
cover the next 10 maybe next session.
Yes, I think I could do 10 even with explanation and little bit of sprinkling of others' wisdom. But I would really urge everyone to read the other 10. We will give you 1 week, and Shabanaji, and do it so we can enjoy the process, when even your views and perceptions come into focus in front of everyone. It really adds to the knowledge. It really adds to adding a feather in your cap, and it really makes the trip worthwhile, of being here and benefiting everyone and your own self. Okay, so thank you with that.